This is Boston. It's a town in South Lincolnshire, the biggest agricultural band in the UK. The local economy relies heavily on the work of migrants from countries within the European Union. The area surrounding Boston is littered with large-scale food production farms. They require a high number of workers to harvest vegetables throughout the seasons to feed the UK's demand for fresh produce every day.
In this area, in the Boston area particularly, because it is the food basket of Britain really, we do need a lot of workers for the jobs, as you've seen with sprout harvesting and things. And I don't honestly think we'd have enough English workers to fulfil the needs that we need. We're very lucky that we've got them that are coming over and working for us, because I think honestly if we relied on the pool of English workers, we shouldn't have enough to do the jobs.
These jobs are open to everyone, but employment agencies have found migrant workers are more willing than Brits to take on jobs requiring manual labour.
It's not just they go out to sort of Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, Bulgaria or Romania. They would like to recruit British people. Unfortunately, as I've said, typically the British person is not particularly interested in that kind of employment.
In 2004, 10 countries joined the European Union, opening the door to 75 million people to come and work in the UK under the EU's freedom of movement policy. A recent study found that migrants in the European Economic Area have since paid 34% more in taxes than they have received in benefits. The net contribution to the UK economy by migrant workers has come to a total of £25 billion. In 2007, Romania and Bulgaria joined the EU. Since the 1st of January this year, restrictions on their freedom of movement were lifted, allowing thousands of people to come to the UK in search of work. Despite the evidence that the migrant workers benefit the local and national economies, there are other concerns about how further migration will have an effect on the UK as pressure on services increases.
Britain is a relatively small and very crowded island. We have the highest population density of any major EU country, I believe. And there is great pressure, as we all know, on transport infrastructure, housing, schools, health service, all those things. We can absorb immigrants, and we should, and we always have. What we can't do is absorb 500,000 a year every year, which is what we've been trying to do.
Zidonis Barbaks is the chairman of a Boston organisation that aims to improve the relationship between the Latvian and local indigenous populations. Zidonis came to the UK from Latvia to work in 2004. A migrant himself, Zidonis is concerned with the treatment of migrants and the risk of exploitation.
Well, my opinion is when we been open like 9 years ago, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland, when we moved to this area, there was loads of Polish people been exploited by the local farmers, agencies. They was paying less than minimum wage, the $2.50 on that time, and I see it's going to be problems first 2 years. The same with the Bulgarians and Romanians.
Wide review. That's the original.
The Joseph Rowntree Foundation has conducted studies concerning the welfare of migrants who have come to the UK to work. Professor Gary Craig of the Foundation expresses how he feels that the government miscalculated the effects that the influx of migrants would have on the UK back in 2004.
Where the British government got things wrong was to severely underestimate the number of people who would come to Britain by a factor of about 10. They thought it would be about 80,000. It's probably closer to 1 million. And as a result, there was no planning put in place whatsoever to prepare for increased numbers of children coming to schools, increased demands on housing, on transport, and all those sorts of things. So of course there'd been pressure on services, but this could have been planned for.
For the people here in Boston and the rest of the UK, the coming months and years will reveal whether lessons have been learned. Dan Brown, LSJ News.